yoga for the brain. Today we're studying some Zentangle things, and I'm real excited to share with you my latest project. So we're studying brain yoga in any way you choose. And this is the project. We're going to work on making a dragon for the year 2024, and the year the dragon starts, the Chinese New Year starts February 10th. So we're right in line for this one. So I have a template for this dragon that I hope you found and download. If you don't have a chance, don't worry about it. Just make yourself some sort of a squiggle line if you'd like to work along with me. And without further ado, let's talk about Zentangle just for a minute. If you can do a slash, if you can do a dot, if you can do a C, an S, and an O, or an orb, if you can make my stick girl or boy, then you have Zentangle. It's just that simple. Anyone can do it. I've taught people from 8 years old to 80 years old. Zentangle is Zen. Get your Zen on and relax, which we will do today. And tangling, which is putting patterns together in a new way, which we are also doing today. These are the supplies that I'm using. You are welcome to use whatever you have on hand. A ballpoint pen, any pen will do. I'm going to use my Micron 01. It has archival ink, which means it won't bleed. And I just love this pen, but there are others that you can use. Please don't let, any material is fine. Sometimes we use a pencil. We may not have as much use for it today. We'll see. And the third thing that I like to keep on hand is my tortillon or blender stump. Now, if I don't have a tortillon, I can spread the pencil marks, the graphite, with my tortillon or with my finger or with a Q-tip. Any of these will work just fine. So here's our dragon. I've already outlined for you that it's the Happy Chinese New Year 2024. And we're going to begin. I will have to turn my tile periodically. The first thing I'm going to do is designate that he has, my dragon, has a couple of ears. And I'm going to decide I want to put some sharp teeth in here. And I also, off of his snout, I'm going to darken there just a bit, and I'm going to put a couple of smoke lines coming from there. We're going to work on this one step at a time, and the first pattern I'd like to show you is on the dragon's body, and it's called Ta. This is a headquarters pattern for Zentangle, and it's very easy to do. Make a series of U's that are joining. They're fairly deep, as you can see. And then at the tip of each, come along and do another series of U's. Do that again. Touch the tip again, again, and again. I also will add a little treatment in here to give our dragon fluidity of movement. And that's just a little whisker or tick mark. And you'll see how that goes as we work together today. So that's going to go on the dragon's body. I'm going to turn my tile just a bit so that I can have my work in front of me. And just off of his neck, I'm going to begin with my Ta pattern. Turning, make things easy on myself. Now, scales would not be perfect, just like our fingernails are not perfect on our dragon's body. So I would expect some differentiation in the scales, and I'm trying to allow for that. And you should do what seems right for you. Even though I am teaching you, the best part about Zentangle is all of our work will be quite a lot different based on our experiences and the things that we're each bringing to the table. There is no right or wrong. It's all in how you see it. And that is what's wonderful about Zentangle. As you can see, I'm leaving the claws on his feet open for now, and I'll add more onto that at a future time. So I'm going to go back now, do what I talked to you about before. I'm going to add just a tiny tick mark, a whisker, and kind of look and see what I've got going on and see if I need to clean up any of my strokes. And that's the dragon. So now let's add some orbs into the head area and each of the feet. Remember from my sample, what I've done is I've added orbs in, and then I've added some substantial claws on. So starting anywhere you like here, and with any size of orbs, large, small, darkening anywhere that you don't feel there's room for an orb. And I always try to leave the area where the head is and the eyes. I try to leave that alone as much as I can so that that will stand out. But anytime I have to use my pen and darken an area, that just adds drama to what we're doing. And I'm going to go right up here with some orbs into his ears. At some point, I'll have to darken those nostrils again. He's pretty cool. All right, let's do a little bit with those claws. Yeah. And there he is. So now, let's continue on and add something to the tail. And the tail pattern that I've chosen to use on my dragon today and that I'm going to show you is called Trisnail. It's by a CZT. Her name is Jenna Black. So you're going to need to make yourself a scoop line and then put a triangle. then inside it another one, and then inside it a third one, which you darken. So the next is just a little bit tricky. I'm going to go off the side and down, off the side and down, and the third time, just like I did with here, I'm going to darken it. Do this again, and 3, and so on. So let's take a minute and go ahead and add the tail to our dragon. And I'm going to start at the end of the tail. I'm going to come up here like this, and a second, and a third, and darken. Turning it a bit so my work stays in front of me. More of a rectangle now. Darken. Curve. You make these as big or as small as your heart desires. There's no size, or it's your dragon. And I think that some folk would already have named him, and I wonder if you have too. And I really hope that you'll put some pictures in the comments and share what you've done. Here's another one. 2 and 3 is quite close. And I have room for another. 3. I want to kind of leave that there because I want to have room for his, well, maybe I'll go up the back here just a little more. That's personal preference. I don't know how yours will look. Again, I hope when you're finished you take the time to send me a picture. And the next thing I'd like to do is work on these things here. I would like to work on his wings. So to work on his wings, I'm going to make a pattern called Draw Wings. Now, it really is spelled drawings, as you can see. I'm going to make a curvy line, and then I'm going to watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it like it's a finish off the curve like it's a candy cane and come down. That can be thinner or thicker, but that's an aura line. And then I'm going to come out and back, come out, back, out, back, out, and back, following that candy cane line, out, and back, out, and tie off. And do that again. Only this, I'm going to aura this first line that I made and come out a little bit further and back, tuck in, out and in, tuck in, again. Turn your paper so your work stays in front of you, out, in, and tie off. From there, I'm going to put a lot of little whiskers, some thicker, some thinner, to give us the illusion of movement again on our dragon. And add as many whiskers, feathers, if you will, that you'd like to. He's your mystical creation. And then I like to do a little over here too, on this side, and soften up that line a bit. Maybe you'll put a few more whiskers. I like to. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I would, on my final piece, I will put a lot more of the feather whiskers. So, starting down here just a ways for his wings, I'm going to bring my first one up here. First wing, candy cane, come back, aura, and back home. And then my second step was to come off, and again, come off, off. That kind of went into here. That's not a problem. I will show you what's called a hollabaugh technique of a way to go around that, although it's such a small amount. So now we're going to aura that first line that we put in here, which more or less means to copy it. Coming here again. And tie it off. And then I'm going to start adding those marvelous whiskers. And then I want to do something on this other side to soften it a bit. You see that's kind of not anything fancy over there. Just want to give them the idea of motion. So I'm going to carry the whiskers all the way. Add a lot more. I've found that the more I add, the more authentic he looks, my mythical dragon. It's very wispy. So I have room for another wing. So I'm going to come along here a little lower, make a candy cane shape, back in, and then I will come out, back, out, back, out, back, out, back, back, and back. And then I have room for a second one. It'll have to be a little closer though, that's for sure. This dragon is just about to take off. And now's when I want to add those whiskers in like I did before. And on the back side here. All I'm doing is tickling the paper with my pen. There's no reason that we have to work hard with our pens. Just work very soft, feather light, and let the ink just come out on its own. It's no matter what you're using, just let the ink flow by itself. Don't push. You'll like it a lot better. So I can fuss with these a lot more. And I believe that I will. Make them curvy. And thicken them even more so. I just think that that looks really, really cool. A little length to them. I'm trying to get a fluidity of motion, and I really do enjoy what we have going on. So the only thing we have left to do here is the tail, and I'm going to use that same pattern that I did before. So I'm going to come off for a different direction though. I'm going to come off here with my curvy line and then come back and back and back and back. And I don't really care if I go in on a second one or not, but I'm going to add a lot of whiskers on my tail and some whiskers here to give motion again. And he is really coming along. So the next thing I want to do is work on the outside border. It's time to finish up our Chinese dragon. So we're going to do that. We're going to decorate the outside in a very Chinese way. And I would like to show you the pattern that we're going to use. And it's called doodah. Nonsense names are the case in many times in Zentangle, only because we have to have a name for things. Doodah is by Linda Farmer. We'll have a curvy line and a secondary curvy line. And what we're going to do is take a line up and around a long rectangle, and this one almost goes to the bottom. This one goes almost to the top, almost to the bottom, and so on. And it comes out looking really cool. So let's get started. Now here's where it gets tricky. Zentangle has something called hullabah. And what it is it's go behind. You have to imagine where the other patterns are underneath, because really we want this to show. To do that, I have to think that it's going the other direction. But the go behind method is called hullabah. And we'll do that more, and we've done that in some of our videos already, and we'll do that more coming up. I'll have to do that again here, where I imagine that it's underneath. Whoop. So that is the end of our Chinese dragon. I made sure to sign my work, and I hope you'll put your initials on yours. He looks just really scary and honors the year of the dragon. So, happy 2024 and happy Chinese New Year. I went ahead and framed my work with just a simple frame. I hope you have a chance to send me pictures and comment on what I can help with or what anybody else would enjoy hearing about. So thank you again so much. Be sure to like the channel, like the project we're doing. I'll have lots more things coming up for you in the future. Happy Zentangling!